Welcome, everybody, to another AI Jumpstart with your customer success team. Today, we are going to talk about reporting with Vibe. We're going to build a Vendasta Vibe reporting dashboard live. So if any of you are praying people, please send a prayer up for my demo here because as we all know, live demos can you're playing with fire. But I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Let's get going. As always, I am Nathan Yaworski, and I will be your friendly neighborhood presenter this morning. And I'm joined today for the Q&A portion by my colleague, Andrew Barkley. We are two of your three customer success managers on the one-to-many customer success team, Lily Yip being our third team member. And again, always such a pleasure to see so many people here from all over. Now, a couple housekeeping items. As always, we are recording this, and you will be receiving a replay link and a follow-up email. If, for whatever reason, you don't check emails that are sent out from SQL, or they end up in your spam or whatever, you can also find us on YouTube. You can view our previous sessions on the link here. Thank you, Andrew. Questions, there will be questions, I'm sure, and I want to make sure you all know where to put them. On the right hand of your screen, you should see a little question mark icon with a Q&A written under it. That is the best place to stick your questions. We will also try to monitor the chat to catch them there as well. But yes, don't be shy. We will be addressing questions at the end of the demo. And of course, all Vendasta webinar recordings can be found on the Vendasta content library, as always, which I believe is vendasta.com/webinars, if I'm not mistaken. If you Google Vendasta and webinars, you should get there. Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. So in previous sessions, you have seen us vibe code a website. Lily built that wonderful ice cream website last week. You've seen us vibe code what was the other thing? An app, what's the word? A booking dashboard for booking tree appointments months ago that I built for you. And now, today, we are going to talk about a reporting dashboard. And today, I'm going to focus on a sales reporting dashboard. So we are going to hop right over into Business App. Now, as always, I'm working out of our test environment. You may see a few things that don't yet exist for yourselves. They're early access or in beta. I'll call them out as I see them. And if there is something in here that you see here that you don't see in yours, just throw it in the chat. We'll confirm whether or not you should be seeing that yet. Excellent. So how do we get started with Vibe? Well, before we dive in, actually, I would love to get a sense of where everybody is at with Vibe, and specifically, I know we've all been playing with it, but how many of you have actually sold Vibe to a customer? And so can we get that poll up there? We've got a lot of not yet showing up. We've got some Vibe standards, just to give me a sense of what everybody's playing around with, what everybody's selling, and what sort of conversations you're having with your clients. Got some free in there. Standard is nice to see. Nobody jumping in with pro yet. That's all right. That's what these sessions are for, helping you learn, helping you get comfortable and confident in speaking to these solutions so you can sell them. And as far as the not yets, I imagine a lot of it is our partners want to be doing your due diligence. You want to be learning it yourself and understanding it yourself. So that's no shame there at all. We're all learning this kind of at the same pace, to be completely honest. We at Vendasta might be 1 or 2 days ahead of you folks, but we're right on the cutting edge, and we're bringing it to you as we get it. So very glad to see so many people here willing to learn, even if you're not actively selling it yet. All right, let's throw that off there. So let's go ahead and, can I move myself? I'm gonna just scooch me to the bottom corner there if possible, Andrew, so that we can see my buttons. So here we are on the Vibe page. Now you can find this on any account that has Vibe active in their business app under AI Vibe. And what we're going to do is we're going to click create a new app. You can go from scratch. Now, this is, I don't think this is released to the general public. We will be releasing templates at some point. There's nothing in there. I don't have anything archived. So right now, from scratch is the only one you're likely going to see here. And we're going to call this our sales leaderboard. And we'll click create. Now that brings me right into the builder. Before we do that, I want to jump back and show you some of the back-end connections. So I'm going to click back. We've got our project here, and I'm going to click on configure. So here's where you can see an overview of the project. You can see what knowledge has been added. So if you have a website that you want to add instead, of course, I'm using a fake business here, so there's no actual website plugged in per se, but knowledge can be added like any AI employee to the Vibe coder. And then we have our shared connectors. Now, one of these you are probably not going to see on yours, and that's the CRM. This is currently just in early access. It is not turned on by default for everyone. We won't go too much into that today. However, once it's released, the idea behind this is that Vibe will be able to connect directly to your business app CRM and pull live data across all of your standard and your custom records. These are things like contacts, companies, opportunities, and your pipelines, what deals you got in the works, which ones have been won, which ones have been lost, activities like your sales work, how many tasks and meetings and calls have the salespeople been logging. It'll be able to pull that, as well as custom objects. So anything that you've added as a custom field in the CRM, it should be able to pull from that as well. Until that's released, we have workarounds where you can get that data in there, things like Supabase and whatnot, but we're very excited for that CRM connector to be publicly available. A few other connectors on here that are important to mention. The single sign-on connector. This lets users sign into your app, and it blocks anyone who's not a user in Business App from being able to access it. So if you have sensitive data that is being pulled by this thing that you only want your organization to know about, single sign-on is a no-brainer, and it's very easy to just toggle that on. Then we've got the analytics section. So where the CRM, the future state CRM section is going to be pulling and adding and editing individual sales deals or individual CRM records, the analytics is designed to be a fast, pre-calculated report of, say, the total leads generated by month across locations, or the number of deals we had in the last year, or the review metrics. So it can capture platform metrics and KPIs such as leads and conversions, review and reputation stats, booking and appointment counts, email and campaign performance, and that's all dependent on what you have active for your clients. So if you have Reputation AI active, it'll be able to access that. If you have Campaigns Pro active and are using it to run an email campaign, it can connect that as well. It can give you time series trends instead of just giving a total number. The connector can then bucket data by time. So if you want to look at the last week or the last quarter or the last year, it can build line charts showing performance trends, week over week comparisons. And for those, for any of you who happen to be on our premium subscription tier with the multi-location business app, it'll be able to pull in roll-ups from that as well. So that's the analytics section here. Then, of course, we talked before about the forms. This can collect and manage form submissions from your app. So it will, you will be able to ask Vibe to build out a contact form rather than coding it yourself, or even using the form builder in CRM here, which is built in. You can just ask Vibe to do it, and that form will automatically feed into that CRM if you've got that enabled, the forms enabled there. And then finally, we have what's called the Supabase connector. Now, I believe, and please someone speak up if I get this wrong, but I'm fairly certain the Supabase connector is only right now available on Pro. Can I get some nods from my shadow counsel at the bottom there? Is that correct? Pro is Supabase? Yes, I'm getting a thumbs up from Andrew. Thank you. So if you are on Vibe Pro, you can connect what's called Supabase to power your app's data and have back-end storage. So you might think, oh, well, what does that mean? Essentially, it provides a complete production-ready backend for your application. So the React code is building the interface that you're clicking and interacting with, but Supabase, it acts as like the brain behind the scenes of your app or your dashboard or whatever. So it provides a robust database to store your app's persistent data. It has secure file storage buckets for files. So if you want your app to allow users to upload things like PDF receipts or profile pictures or manage documents or anything like that, Supabase can allow you to do that as well. It can also allow us to write backend code that runs securely on a server rather than in the user's browser. So essentially, a lot more data security and a lot more data integration through Supabase. That's the high level brain, or the high level nuts and bolts of what Supabase is. I'm going to turn it on for this because I have created a project in Supabase. Now, if you are wanting to use your Supabase account with Vibe, there are a couple of things you have to do. First, of course, you have to toggle on Supabase. Then what we have to do is we have to go down in Business App to Administration, and we have to go to Integrations, and then we actually have to integrate Supabase. So if you go to Browse and you click down all the way to Supabase, you click there. Mine's already connected, but it'll say connect there, and it'll ask you for some data from Supabase, the name of your project, your project key, and I don't remember what the third thing is called. Anyway, there are 3 things you have to add from Supabase, which you can find there. Now, if it would be useful for folks, if you are using Supabase, throw a comment in the chat if you would like, a simple walkthrough on how to navigate that in Supabase to get that information. This is only going to be for folks who are using that Pro subscription or want to try using that Pro subscription, but please leave a note in the chat. We'll keep track of who all's looking for it, and we can send it out as a after the fact if there's interest there. But essentially, now that Supabase is connected, I'll be able to feed data into Vibe that exists outside of Business App as well, which is good because even though I have the early access CRM, which I'll turn on just because, and it could pull in customer data and salesperson metrics and whatnot, I don't have any actual data or salespeople in here. So what I did was I got our dear friend Claude to make up a fake sales team with some fake data for the last 60 days, and I plugged it into Supabase to be able to build out a dashboard for my fake sales team. All right, so as always with Vibe, we have our chat window here. This is where we're going to start our project. Now we've got those 3 different modes we've talked about. We've got the ask mode. This is just a discussion. Last time we mentioned that this did not use AI credits. That was an error on my part. I went and asked our documentation, and our documentation was out of date. So if you are asking, it will still use some credits, but it's not going to be as many as if you were building. So it, just be prepared for that. Don't feel like you're going to chat with it, till the cows come home. But this is a nice light way to use your credits if you don't want to be repeating yourself or going back and making fixes. Have the discussion with Vibe first. It'll still use credits, but it'll be a lot less credits than reiterating on the same thing because Vibe didn't understand your ask. Then we got plan. You can formulate a plan that way as well, or you can just start building immediately, which is very easy to do. Now I am going to ask it to build a sales activity dashboard. I'm going to specify that I want it to be, actually, I'm not going to. When I was testing this out, I specified that I wanted it to be connected to my Supabase project, but because I've got that connection, I think it's going to assume that an activity dashboard for salesperson metrics. All right, here we go. Oh, where's my cursor? Sorry. And then I also have this here of exactly what I want previously cooked up. So I want summary cards at the top, total calls, total emails, total meetings, total deals closed, total revenue, all filtered to the selected date range, a date range filter that updates charts and cards, a filter so that I can see the whole team or individual salespeople, a line or bar chart showing calls, emails, etc., etc. And I'm going to say make it clean and modern looking, and we'll see what it does with that. As we all know, we have to let Vibe cook just a little bit here, if you're going to, go off and do something while it's cooking, I recommend leaving this window open. If you navigate away from it, it's going to stop your prompt. At least it has in my experience. So if you want to go do something else on a different tab, just open it in a new tab, and Vibe will continue to cook in the background. Don't forget to check periodically. Every now and then, Vibe will ask for clarifications, or maybe it's missing some data that it needs, and it'll stop working. So if you walk away, make sure you're checking in just to make sure it's not needing additional information. All right, and we can see it's formulated a plan here over the layout, the global filters, some KPI cards and activity trends. So for me, if I was a sales leader wanting to be able to see at a glance how my sales team is doing, and also to be able to share it with them so they can see how they're doing, this is a great business use for those clients who might have a larger sales team, or even a mid-sized sales team. Even if you have more than one salesperson, 2 or more, it's going to be good to be able to roll up their data into one spot. And it is thinking very, very hard. Now, as always with Vibe, I like to mention that if you're ever unsure as to where your credits are standing, you can see the number of credits left in the project overview or the configure portion itself, or I'll just open a new tab here while Vibe cooks. You can go to administration and credits, your AI credit balance and usage. And you can see here with this project already, I've spent something like 67, 30, 100, and almost 200 credits here just with this one project in the last 3 minutes. So always be mindful of the credits you're using. Vibe Free is a lot of fun to play on, but it only gives you 250 credits per day. So if you are wanting to really test it and put it through its paces, I recommend at least purchasing either for yourself or for a client test account the Vibe Standard, just so that you have a little bit more leeway with how much you can do in a single on a single project. Just as a reminder, Vibe Standard comes with 10,000 credits per month, and Vibe Pro comes with 25,000 credits per month. All right, let's just see here. Still indexing, still reading. Oh, building. Okay, plan completed. So now it's loading my preview. It's telling me something's wrong, so let's refresh. Technical details, WebSocket closed without opened. Supabase not configured. Oh, I thought I did. Let me take a look. Okay, that's strange. It's enabled and I did connect it. So I did prepare for this eventuality because I tested. Oh, here we go. So it's giving me a little warning, row level security is disabled. That's important for data security. And if these were real salespeople and real numbers and a real business, I definitely want to go in and turn those on. I'm not too worried about it right now because it's fake data. But you can see it's not pulling anything in because for whatever reason, Supabase is not reading my chart. So let me just back out of here. Thanks to the magic of television, I do happen to have one built out already. And I'm wondering, perhaps it's because my project is already connected to this one, that it's not letting me connect to the other. So essentially my prompt was very similar, summary card at the top, et cetera, and it completed the prompt pretty well. I had to tweak it a bit because I think I left the screen and it stopped connecting. So it gave me just the default message, but then it fixed the issue. And here we are. So you can see, not very exciting right now because I've got that single sign-on turned on. Because I'm a user on this test account, I should be able to click in here with single sign-on and access my dashboard. There we go. And now you can see I'm signed in as Nathan Yaworski, the sales manager for this Sales Pulse team. And this is essentially pulling from the data that I had put into my Supabase data list. So again, it's fake data, fake salespeople, but you can see I've got my leaderboard, and Priya is currently leading the month's sales. She's brought in $139,028 in revenue. Man, Priya needs a raise. Sophia, I think maybe is a newer member of the team, but still doing pretty good for somebody who's only been here, a couple of weeks. So you can see we've got our leaderboard, we've got the revenue trend over time, and our activity trends. And this was all just built by Vibe based on that data. Now, if I wanted to tweak this a little bit, it does look a little bit sterile right now. Add color to make this dashboard pop a little more. It's too sterile. Let's see how it handles that. And of course, I've got our sales rep drop down. I was having some trouble getting it to realize that it needs to make this opaque. I need to find the right prompt to get it to do that. But I can filter from the last 7 days, the last 30 days, or the dollar revenue, or sorry, the last 90 days dollar revenues below it. And it's reading and it's thinking about what it wants to do. I didn't give it a very good detailed prompt there. I should have maybe given it, a color theme or something. Now the good news is, if you've already got your website trained, you should be able to tell this. If I had a website, I'd be able to tell Vibe, use the color scheme to match my branding on my website that is in the knowledge source, and it should be able to pull that as well. Right now, it's building this from scratch because Nathan Yaworski Do Not Delete is not a real business, it's going to do what it can with the tools it's given. So it's going to define some custom colors. It's going to enhance the summary cards. It's going to make the charts a little more vibrant and polish the layout. And that's all just from that kind of very generic prompt that I gave it. So it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting here creatively. If I had been more specific, it would probably take a little less time formulating this. Also, I feel like if this was my sales team, I'd be pretty happy with how much they're actually on the phones this month. So good job, team. One thing I don't see here is their role, like different sales roles, but I could add in my data set, I could specify, oh, Priya is an account executive, but Jordan is an account manager, or Marcus is an SDR, or something like that. Again, I'm not a sales leader, so I don't know necessarily all the things to put into a dashboard, but we can see, okay, so we got a little more color. It's not quite as sterile. It's a little friendlier. Not bad for the very lackluster prompt that I gave it. So there you have it, a workable dashboard. And again, you can sign out when you're done, or it'll automatically sign you out if your cookies are reset. And like any Vibe project, you can publish it. Click this publish button. So it gives your site an address. Now, if you're on Vibe Free, that address is the website address that you would use if you want people to go to it. But on Standard or Pro, you can add a custom domain in here. It will generate some DNS records, like an A record and a C name, stuff like that, so that you can actually point it to a domain that you've purchased. And then you click publish site once those domain records are in, or if you're just using the standard site address, you go ahead and click publish site as well. That in a nutshell, is how to build a dashboard with Vibe. And again, like all things with Vibe, most of it just involves asking the AI what it can do and telling it to do that. It's very intuitive, it's very easy to use, and it did a pretty darn good job based on my prompts for what I was looking for. Now, again, future state, once we have that CRM integration rolled out, you may not even need to put your sales data into Supabase like I did with my fake data. You could potentially just use the CRM data, depending on how much you're using your CRM and how diligent your salespeople are with entering their sales activities. But really, it boggles the imagination what you can do with this thing. That is where we'll move on to Q&A. So I would love to hear some questions, and I'll answer what I can.
Give me just a second here, Nathan.
No worries.
I'm going to choose this question first, just because you touched on this.
Can you share where the data came from to build this report? External CRM. That's a great question. So for me, if I was a real business, it could have been an external CRM feeding into Supabase. For me, I went to Claude, and I'll tell you exactly. Let me just open Claude here. Tell you exactly what I asked it to do for me. I probably could have asked Vibe as well. I haven't actually tried how good it would be at generating fake data. However, the prompt I asked Vibe was, here it is. I need some phony sales data, number of calls, emails, meetings, etc., for a fictional sales team of 5 that I can put into Supabase so I can connect it to my Vendasta Vibe coder. So essentially, that's where my data came from. However, if you're plugging in your own data to Supabase, inserting it there. As far as how to get it into Supabase, honestly, what I did is I asked AI. I asked, "Hey, I've never used Supabase before, or I'm very new at this. This is what I want to do. This is why the data needs to be there. I'm building this dashboard for sales reporting. Can you tell me what to tell how to install it in Supabase?" And again, Claude helped me out a lot. If you're using Gemini or GPT, I'm sure that will also help you as well. But yes, the data to build this report was entirely fictional from the help of our friend Claude. Can Vibe pull data from multi-location groups to build a reporting dashboard for a brand? So yes, according to our resource documentation for Vibe under the analytics enabler, which I did show briefly. Let me just share this tab instead. We got this here. So our analytics enabler, if you have the multi-location business app and you have Vibe active, you should be able to pull that multi-location group data into it. Great question, Jim. Again, I've not tried that myself because I don't have a multi-location test account, but the analytics connector is what you would want for that sort of reporting. All right. Next up. When we sign up for Vibe Pro, do we receive an email or notification to sign up for Supabase, or how is the connection created? That's a good question. You don't get a notification saying sign up for Supabase. It's kind of, you have to figure it out yourself, essentially, and you have to already have a Supabase account. Now, for myself, I have just a free account. It lets you do one project, and that's the project I use for my demos. There are any number of plans and account types that you can have with Supabase. You would need to have that set up first, and then, like I mentioned at the beginning, you need to toggle it on in your project, but you'd also need to toggle it to connect it in administration and integrations. And to your point, yes, there is no current, there's currently no notification saying, hey, you bought Pro, remember to use the Supabase connector. So that's something you're going to want to flag for your clients if you're selling it to clients, or even just remember for yourself if you're just using it for yourself. Okay.
All right, this next question here, this is related to the sales dashboard that you created.
Can you show the use case, how to leverage this in day-to-day practice for the sales team? So I guess answer to that question, Shahid, it would be for myself, as if I were a sales leader, I would want a one spot to easily view my my team's metrics, and not only to view the metrics so I know how they're doing and who's maybe needs a little help. Looks like Sophia might need a little help getting her revenue up if she's not meeting her targets. But it also helps that team accountability piece as well. So if you have a culture where your salespeople, you know, they share in each other's successes and they commiserate in each other's failures, or you like to have fun with it and just make it, you know, a little competition. Salespeople are a fiercely competitive breed. You know, the leaderboard can be a really great motivator. And again, you can have it set so that, maybe I just want to look at Devin's numbers specifically, or Devin just wants to concentrate on himself. You can, with this dashboard, switch between. So as far as business use case, it's data accountability for the work, the metrics that you need to be meeting. A lot of organizations, a lot of businesses expect their sales teams to make a certain number of calls in a certain amount of time, to make a certain number of meetings, close a certain number of deals, you know, quotas and whatnot. So that's the use case for a dashboard like this. You could essentially create a dashboard for really anything. If you wanted an analytics dashboard for your business app, for instance, with that analytics connector, you could build that out to pull in, essentially, you know, building out a extra executive report. So we have the executive report built in. Every now and then I come across a partner who's like, well, my clients don't really go into business app. I do all the work for them. So that's another use case for Vibe. If you want that reporting piece, but you don't necessarily need your clients, or your clients maybe don't want to come around, you know, logging in and clicking around in the CRM and whatever else, you could build out a dashboard connecting to your business app data to allow them to see how they're performing without necessarily having to have them create a password and log in. Of course, that means you'd have that single sign-on turned off. But again, if it's not a concern for your clients to have that data, you know, password protected, there's nothing saying you can't do that. I always recommend the single sign-on, and honestly, I always recommend having your clients in the business app. This is a bit of a tangent, but you know, I definitely get the client that says, no, just handle it for me, I don't want to know. That's great. I'm happy to do that. However, it's important that they know kind of how the sausage is getting made so that you can show your worth. If they look at this executive report and they see, oh wow, the chatbot brought in 15 leads last week. Oh, my ad campaign got a whole ton of impressions. That's important information for them to know, and you can definitely supply that to them yourself. Be the keeper of that information, but them having it at their fingertips is really very valuable.
If I may add one thing to that, Nathan, one of the really cool things about this as well is the data that then's presented. You can customize this based on how the client might want to see the data. So if they want graphs, if they want charts instead of just numbers, because some people just like to interpret and see the visualization of data differently. So that's one of the really cool things about this as well, is then you can customize the presentation to them so it makes sense in their brains.
That's huge, absolutely, and I thank you for chiming in with that. Everybody's brain works a little differently, and if your client is going to get more from pie charts and bar graphs than he is from a list of numbers or a leaderboard, Vibe can do that for you. Great questions.
Okay, I've got one more here.
We create weekly reports for some of our larger clients showing lead info, name, email, phone number, reason for the last 7 days, web analytics, reviews, SEO rankings, and social posts. Can Vibe create and export this report as an email on a weekly basis? Now, that's a very good question. And I'm not sure if anyone else on my team here in the call has played around with campaigns connected to Vibe. I have not, so I would be curious to know the answer to this, and maybe it's a fodder for a future session. But Andrew, Lily, or Rashida, have any of you had experience with sending, not only having the reporting, but having it sent as an email? Getting some no's. All right. Will, that is a really good question. I honestly, I think I've got some homework today. I'm gonna maybe look into this, and at the very least, we will give you a follow-up on this question, if not a full session on something like this, because I think that's a very compelling use case, not only providing the data, but hand delivering it, so to speak. Thank you for that question, Will. I will definitely make a note of it. All right. Do we have any last ones here? I am also happy to give us a bit of time back. I know it's a beautiful day outside where we are. Not sure about everyone else. Maybe go have lunch outside.
I'm just checking here. I'm gonna, hold on one second. One last question here.
Sounds good. This will be our final today. Thank you all for putting your questions in. Howdy, says Laura. Can we get the best of both worlds? Give every client a login, but make the user interface beautiful and customizable and use a single sign-on. So essentially, what I would say to that is you can. How I would recommend you do it is getting them added as a user, having them set their password so they have a login, and then essentially just give them the link to the website once they've created that login, instead of having them go directly into Business App if you don't kind of like the layout of Business App, or you want it specific to that customer and how they want to see that data. Then give them the website for Vibe, and then they'll be able to use that login. They still do need to log in at least once to create that password for that single sign-on, but that's definitely something you could do. That said, there is a lot of good stuff in Business App that not only brings value to your clients, the CRM, for instance, keeping track of their clients. I know a lot of small businesses still using a Rolodex or a sheet of paper on the calendar or something duct taped to the fridge. Probably not duct taped to the fridge. That was a weird thing to say. You can also see the value potentially for upselling in Business App. I wouldn't necessarily divert people away from Business App because there's a lot in here. I don't have the social media manager or the blogger active for this, but as a client, I could see this. And it's like, wait, you guys also have a social media AI? Tell me about that. And that drives sales conversations as well. So definitely doable. You want to get them logged in one time with their Business App, and then give them the Vibe website to log into going forward. However, honestly, there's a lot in here that I don't think you necessarily would want to bypass. It also gives them the ability to take charge of their AI. For instance, if you're selling them AI tools, it gives them the ability to come in and make changes to the AI's role, the AI's knowledge. So if it's not getting something right, they don't have to come to you and wait in a queue or wait for you to get to their request. They can come in and make those changes themselves and self-serve a little bit. Like the old saying goes, you teach or give a man a fish, he eats for a day, teach a man to fish, and they won't bother you ever again. I don't think that's exactly how it goes, but I trust the point is well taken. Awesome, everyone! Thank you so much for joining me today, and Andrew, in this journey through Vibe. We got a couple of plugs coming up. If you are not already, inundated with our content, we've got even more for you this week. We've of course got our Tuesday, we got our Thursday sales and strategy, but we've got a special one by our Vendasta services team, and it is the put your content on autopilot the release of the release happened 2 weeks ago, but it's the deep dive explanation into the AI social media manager and the AI blogger employees. Now, this is going to be giving you the broad strokes. It's going to, maybe I use the word deep dive. That's probably not exactly what it's going to be, but there'll be some demoing as well. But if you're hungry for more, we've got good news for you, because AI Jumpstart next Tuesday, we will be diving into social AI to show you how the tool works, how it functions, how you can customize it. And the following week, we'll be diving into the blogger as well. If for some reason you found our session today but have not yet registered, or maybe you just registered for one but not the whole series, you can use this button here to register for our AI Jumpstart. And then lastly, of course, I mentioned our sales and strategy webinar. This week, we're joined by Braden Gadet from our franchise team, and he's going to be talking about the AI franchise follow-up, converting those missed multi-location leads. So that's going to be a really good one, especially for those partners who are looking to get into the multi-location space or do have those franchise owners that they're working with. That's this Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And sorry, the other one is tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern for Social AI Premium. So don't miss those. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday, if not before. Thank you so much, and take care.